Yeah, hoping. Wait up. Once. Yeah, let's do this. I'm just I'm gonna copy this into.
Yeah,
Uh,
homeboy ain't going nowhere.
I'm just copy it into the Facebook thing. Okay, give me a second. So ready there. Post there. Okay, good. Anyway, yes. So welcome
Yeah.
to
Anyways,
Soapbox podcast. For
yeah,
what is it?
yeah. Let me interrupt him because I feel like being rude.
Sure.
Before you do anything, for bloody heaven's sake, subscribe to our YouTube channels. Click the damn bell icon so you get our notifications because we're very annoying, but we're very smart and we like to do stuff and we like to talk crap about stuff and we like to talk about smart stuff and act like we're smart, but we're not. And we just want to make it seem like the university education that we got was worth it. So do listen to us. Now I'll let the guy do the standard stuff. I did my shit talk.
All right.
Thanks.
So, welcome to what's the date today?
I don't
21st.
even know anymore. I don't even know
It's
anymore.
21st. Welcome to May 21st podcast, the Soapbox podcast. We are thinking of changing the name because there's more than one Soapbox podcast, so different variations of such a name. So, anybody got any ideas? Go ahead. I could
I
not
have
come
one.
up with anything. I was
I
thinking,
have one.
huh?
I have one.
Yeah,
Sitting on the porcelain throne. Something funny like
yeah,
that.
well,
Maybe.
that's what I was thinking because today early in the morning, the idea of it's something like intellectual armory came up, but then I was thinking that that's just too presumptive. Like that, we just
It really
it's
is.
it's it's, it's
It
not
really
gonna
is.
work. And I didn't like that, so I'm like after about like 5 minutes thinking like no, screw it, and something else, something will come up, and eventually we'll rename it. And until then, we'll just go with what we have right now. Alrighty, so let's uh let's get right into the stuff that we want to talk about. And one of the things that we can.
One of those items is Carol Baskin. We're like 3 months late on this, but
Who is
Carol
Carol
Baskin.
Baskin?
Well, if you had Netflix, I think you do.
No, I
And
don't
if you
have
ever watched
Netflix.
Ty, okay, great. So welcome to the 21st century. Um, anyways, Tiger King, everybody knows about
Oh,
that.
I heard about that.
I binge watched it about a month ago, and I keep talking in expressions about the damn show, and I just can't get that junk out of my mind now. And everything is goddamn Carol Baskin. Like just everything is now. Everything I think about is Carol Baskin. Like just cursing with Carol Baskin. Like I can't even eat a Baskin Robbins ice cream anymore because I think of her, a tiger killer.
Oh,
Anyways,
it's a female.
yes, of
The only
course,
shots I
Carol
seen of
Baskin.
Tiger King was a guy there sitting next to the tiger.
Yeah, his name is Joe Schreibvogel, exotic, Maldonado Passage. That's his full name, and it's also his husband's surnames added to it as well. So colorful character. He's in jail for life.
Well,
I don't.
given his name, he
Maybe
should
that's
have been
why.
jailed just for that. But
No, you're well. That's kind of mean. I don't think you need to be a little bit more inclusive than that. That's being a prick. So stop. Come
okay,
on,
fine,
let's be
fine,
nice.
fine.
All
All
right.
right. So
No more Carol
yeah. So
Baskin.
one of the topics that I seen and been talked about, and you just mentioned right before we started, is relates to the fact that we have a movement. Looks like it's going to be the global supply chain is going to be moving from China, away from China, and the reason, of course, is because it turned out that, well, generally, apparently, it's like 50% mostly focused in China on any industry. We're talking about telecom, like I mean, electronics,
Yeah.
like it's almost like 58 or something like that. So
Uh-huh.
almost all that is being manufactured there, and as a result of the current situation, people figured out, well, maybe having all the stuff manufactured in one place that could shut down because, well, of a pandemic is not exactly the greatest idea. Number two is,
Yeah.
is the idea is that, well, even if that, if they don't shut down because of pandemic, they might redivert all the manufacturing somewhere, right? And it's quite actually interesting because I heard that even numbers for like such thing as like the stuff what they make Tylenol with, like ibuprofen, I think, or Tylenol Advil, one
No,
of them.
no, no. Tylenol is acetaminophen,
Yeah, so I
acetaminophen,
think
and
Advil is
Advil is ibuprofen.
ibuprofen. Apparently, like a third of it comes from China to the United States. Like almost all
Nice.
vitamin C pills come from United States from China. It's China also supplies a lot of it to Japan. It supplies to a lot of it to Europe. Like a lot of medical, like basic medical generics come either from China, and some of them come from India also, right? And so a lot of it seems to be the focus here. And of course, what people are talking about is the idea is that, well, we can't rely on the one location. So they're talking about moving like manufacturing in other locations. Number one. Uh, there's also the idea of having a spare manufacturing capacity. The idea is that your factories never run at 100% or even close to 100% anymore. So you're going to have multiple factories, but all of them running at, let's say, I don't know, 70%, let's say, so you can spin them up in case one
Mhm.
gets, pandemic hit. So that kind of stuff, people are talking. And of course, the whole Huawei debate and everything that now is coming in is the idea is that, well, what about the national security, right? What if some country decide that manufactures all your medical equipment decides to shut off the product, export to you as an attack type of approach? Like, what are you gonna do about that? And people are talking about now what we become as what's called nationalized, or not even nationalized as much as people are saying, like national security industries. In other words, industries that have to be either brought home or have to be get closer into the supply chain so that it's easier to move things. You don't have to wait for months to something for the ship to sail, right? So
Think about a war situation,
yeah,
right? In a globalized world, you're in a war situation, and your enemy is the one who actually makes your machine gun magazine rounds.
yeah.
Isn't that gonna suck?
Yeah, exactly. Like
Right?
it's like the people are talking about that because I remember like U.S. steel is always gets protection based on that. The idea is that, oh, we need steel for ships, right? So therefore, national security industry, we can't have it fail, right? We can't have it go away. But like people are talking almost everything now. They're talking about medical. Like, you can make apparently arguments for anything to be national security.
What's gonna happen with semiconductors? So now with 5G and all that stuff, and you're gonna need a shit ton of semiconductors of all kinds.
Yeah,
What's gonna happen with all that? Because that is what's gonna feed the next gen technology revolution,
yeah, and
right?
that's the whole idea of
So
Huawei
where's it
shutting
all
you
gonna
off
get
at some
done?
point.
Right. So here's the thing, right? So are they gonna start? So big semiconductor and like technology companies like the Qualcomms, the Nvidias, are they gonna start like shifting some of their production over to Taiwan, Vietnam, maybe bring it home,
That's what
or is
people
it
are
gonna
saying. That
cost too
maybe
much
even
then?
bring it home. Like people are talking automation, saying that if you have enough automation, you don't need as many people, so therefore your human
Sure.
cost in terms of employment cost is down, right? I don't know how much about that automation, but maybe not an expert in robotics. That's how much of it's possible. I
See, because
semi-familiar.
one thing that hit me kind of hard a few years ago was, is his name Tim Cook, the CEO
Hmm.
of
Yeah,
Apple,
yeah. I don't know
right?
if he still is, but
So
yeah, yeah.
anyways, when he was, I don't know if he is anymore. I don't have good general knowledge right now. But a few years ago, he used to say how, as much as people tell us to bring back some of these like more advanced kind of manufacturing processes and things like that, he said China's light years ahead of us because of their advanced tooling and stuff,
Yeah.
right? In the manufacturing industry. So that's where I wonder then. I'm like, okay, so if we do bring some of this stuff back, are we using manufacturing infrastructure from the 1970s or from 2020?
Yeah, that's actually quite
I,
quite
I'm
good
just throwing
argument.
I'm just
Yeah,
throwing
like
that out there,
you need
right?
to
I don't
retool,
know.
like literally. And Tim Cook is
Yeah.
still CEO. I just googled it.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
but like,
Thanks for
yeah. So, but yeah, that you're right. It's if you bring it back or even bring it to any other location, you have to set up the whole facility, everything, and besides tooling, I'm just thinking like also qualified labor, right? It's not like you can just pick up anybody for that. It's this is not I don't know.
like like we as mature democracies and so-called capitalist countries, free market countries, produce a lot of great engineers, hardware, software, whatever you want to call it. But do we produce great manufacturers, like physical manufacturers anymore,
Yeah,
or people who could like be on the line and just make sure that everything in the assembly line and all that stuff is working perfectly? We're also great at adopting stuff like Lean Six Sigma and everything, right? Like
mhm.
when Toyota in Japan was coming up with all those cool things, right? And thinking, let's find the most efficient way, the most lean way to be able to produce maximum output. So we're very good at even like theorizing those things and then teaching them in business schools, but then we take that operation somewhere else.
Yeah.
So is it now finally time to apply all that knowledge, our institutions have been teaching everybody, but not really applying for themselves
Well, that's
in their own in
yeah,
their on their own
that's a
soil,
question. Yeah, that's actually something that I
right?
haven't heard discussed. Is the idea is that how much of a bring it back, let's say, or even bring it to a different location would be the
Because
costs.
let's announce it. Let's announce it. This is now a trade war, a global trade war, and people are starting to shift their loyalties, and they're starting to see that things got pretty inconvenient, and they're not necessarily going to forget this so easily. But there's still that damn convenience factor, and the price points.
Yeah, that's
Things
gonna be the
might
other
still
problem.
stay. Things might still stay very close to status quo.
Yeah,
You might start seeing some little bit of decoupling, but I don't know, man. Somebody tell me.
yeah, that's the price point is actually something that I heard. Like I was at the CFA's virtual conference this week,
Okay.
and that's what they talked about. Some people mentioned because of this whole global supply chain shift, coming home, we're gonna have higher costs, right? So therefore higher price. But then another guy came in and next after that, and he's saying pretty much that because China is essentially driven, they're literally just gonna ask for factories to spin up production to such an extent that they're gonna spin up so much stock that the price is gonna drop everywhere because they're just not gonna do it more than there's demand for it. They're gonna the supply will outstrip the demand because of the central command side structure of the China in order to kind of get Chinese to China to show that, oh yeah, we all back, we know the crisis over type of thing situation.
But um are they producing excessive levels to try to maintain market share, or are they doing it to posture
Well, his
that
idea
they're
was that it
still
was
healthy?
posturing and just in order to create that whole growth numbers back. Again, I don't know how right he is. He was pretty opinionated about it, so maybe he's right. But I haven't heard anybody else say that before. Like everybody always says that no, the price will go up because you know we have new costs associated with inventory space that people might want to have warehouses, extra stuff like that, and of course production somewhere else. But yeah, that might be possibility. Like that was an interesting thing that he said. Like I'm like, yeah, that's actually could be possible. I could see it happening. We'll see how's that. If China will do that or not, or maybe they're already doing it and we're just not seeing it yet.
Now, now with China's data, I think economists and just analysts in general across the board have always felt that whatever numbers they report are probably embellished by a factor of 20 to 35%. I'm not trying to pull that out of my hat, but I've heard those kind of numbers
Yeah,
in
I
the
heard
past,
that also.
right?
Yeah,
So,
but
like seasoned Harvard economists have said
mhm.
stuff like that, right? So I wonder, from their experience from the past to like the miracle that happened over the last 30, 40 years, I'm pretty sure they would have a pretty good idea. So I'm going to kind of go with that guesstimation too. So what we hear, we might want to take with a grain of salt. Not to say that other economies don't fudge their numbers. I think we all do that to stay in politics and stay relevant, anyways, right? We fudge a little bit here, but I think the level they do it at, and because of the central command system that they have, um,
Yeah,
you know,
it is possible. And
yeah,
when we're talking, actually, another point that I want to bring up is that when people are talking about trade war, it's not only U.S. China. Apparently, Japan and South Korea has not been friendly on trade for a while already, and
oh
there's
sure,
other
sure.
countries are also in the same type of a situation where they have been disputing with each other. So it's not only location that we're having a trade war. It's other nations are
And
also doing it.
we also know that China's little baby manufacturer for when they can't handle extra capacity is Pakistan,
Mhm.
and not sure what level of contracts they're getting at this time. The pandemic's hitting them pretty hard, I hear. So I wonder what's up with those dudes. Just to speak again about Asia, since we're there,
Yeah, why not?
um, we're seeing Apple actually produce more stuff right now in Vietnam. So, for instance, the those AirPods you
Hmm.
put in your ears and stuff. Apparently, those are like a decent amount of those have been manufactured recently through there. India's taken on not necessarily all technology kind of excess manufacturing that's been missing in the world, but even stuff like shoe companies want to like manufacture their shoes out there or blah blah.
Hmm.
There's little bits of shifts happening here and there. So um, I don't know how much of that capacity that, let's say, other countries want to move away from China that India could take on, because to be honest, I love the place, but they're not there yet. They're so far away from ever even being competitive on the manufacturing um, side of things with China. There's like 50 years to go, man. Like, sorry. I love the place, but no, I'm being
Yeah, no,
honest, okay? Because
understandable.
like you have like the political risk, because um as much as you try and as much as you get a strong leader in there, they always get stretched, and being able to implement what you really want to, unless you use a heavy hand, it doesn't happen. And India's biggest weakness when they're trying to industrialize and like become really highly developed is the fact that there's such a decentralized kind of a system, and there's not enough, let's call it, authority, right? Kind of saying, no, this is the way it's going to be. No, I am creating this road. No, I'm putting this dam up here so we get some bloody electricity. No, I'm about to do this. That's it. There's not enough of that. Because I think China, the reason why they really prospered during that time was that real tough love they had, right? And there wouldn't be any dissent. India is a country of pure dissent. Okay? No, just straight up. They're polar opposites. No, it's a fact.
Uh,
It's a fact. So when my friends are like getting all hyped up about India is going to replace China, I'm like, not at all. Get over it. You're not there. You're very smart people, but you're not there, and you're not getting there anytime soon. Especially with how you're being governed. Not to say that the people in power are bad or anything. I'm just saying that country itself needs such an overhaul that this is not going to do it, and it's not going to happen just by you passing on hydroxychloroquine and stuff to other countries, think you're going to get a lot of goodwill. It's not going to happen that easy. It's bought you lots of goodwill right now. People have seen it. The world has seen it. But you have a long way to go. You have a long way to go. You still don't own your own country's narrative. You're waiting for the New York Times to say, yes, you're a great country. They're never going to do that. The New York Times will never do that. Right? Anyways,
no, that's fine. Yeah.
I deflected away, but it was important because we were talking about the region, and like people are trying to like overhype how a lot of manufacturing and other things will be taken over by India. And I'm like, no, it's
Yeah,
not.
I heard
Get over
about
yourself.
medical industry and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People talking about that.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah,
They're good. Okay, let's
yeah,
not get that wrong either. They're very good at that. Okay, so biopharma and all that stuff, they're great. Okay, but they're not going to be able to control that market. Let's just put it that way, because a lot of the European biopharma, like a lot of the US companies, are too strong. They will rip the living craps out of a country like India through TRIPS, like
mhm,
the from like the World Trade Organization, right? So
yeah,
TRIPS and like the whole generic drugs thing. They've been doing that for the last 15, 20 years anyways, right? They've been knocking like at India's door and kicking them in the butt for a long time now with that whole generic drugs thing. It's been a huge war, right? India saying, I can get you AIDS drugs for $30 a month, and you, X company, I'm not going to name, would charge somebody $800 a month. So where's the justice there, right? So when an
mhm.
Indian company is saying that I can produce this and I'm doing it in a humanitarian way and I'm still profitable, what's your excuse, European/American company? So, and it's like, oh, but that's our intellectual property. You stole it. So now I'm going to charge you a shit ton and I'm going to slap your wrist in the world markets. That kind of crap happens.
Yeah,
So there is so much junk going on. And I think until a country like India actually makes it to the damn Security Council and becomes a permanent member and
okay.
actually gets taken seriously as a world power, which it's still not and still shouldn't be taken seriously as, to be honest, until it gets there, it's not going to be able to pull any kind of weight economically and like start saying stuff to
Yes,
people.
and
I'm
yeah,
I'm
no,
being
yeah,
unrealistic. You know what I
no.
mean?
Security
That's
Council
it.
seat is not gonna happen. Uh,
No, I know.
there's too much of
There's
China
enough.
there.
Yeah, of course. And
They're
that's the
not
thing.
gonna let it. Apparently, you guys had like a recent border dispute, but you guys border disputes now.
They always happen.
Yeah,
They always
yeah,
happen.
yeah. They apparently now they
Yeah.
say no weapons, so the soldiers kind of pretty much do martial arts against each other. Uh, that's apparently
Well,
is the situation. They decided to stop kind of them shooting at each other, so that doesn't happen. So they're not allowed to use weapons.
there's lots of border disputes through India's northeast. There's border disputes on India's northernmost points. There's border disputes on northwest India. There are bloody internal disputes from, folks I won't mention. I mean, where does it end? Like that place, that country, I love it, but it needs military rule or something. Like for a good 20, 30 years, like straight up. The military is highly regarded in that country. They need military rule, straight up. They need it badly. That's all I got to say. Just fix everybody. That's it.
All right.
All right.
So
Enough
anyway, so
ranting
yeah,
from me.
let's
I always have to get it in every podcast.
I'm just gonna let it. Yeah.
It's my color. I can't help it.
Yeah.
It's me.
So let's move
Anyways,
on to something that happened, and I heard this actually. I heard it from basically the CPA Canada, the chartered professional accountants of Canada. But
yes.
I talked to a person who's an auditor at EY, and
Okay.
that person also confirmed saying that this is not only Canada only. So basically, security regulators are saying that if you're gonna do financial filing now, you have to have
Okay.
disclosures for COVID-19 impact in your filing.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
right?
so you
Okay.
have to say exactly what how it's going to affect your business, which is kind of weird because how are you going to know how it's going to affect your business now that I think about it?
It's very interesting how you mentioned that because I've been like following some stocks that I'm investing in, and I'm not going to mention those because I'm not giving advice here. That there's certain companies who, because their products are really in demand right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're buying inventory from other companies and selling it,
Mm-hmm.
right? To make it seem like as if their sales have been going crazy or something.
Yeah, so I guess that's something has to be disclosed. Like
You see what I
yeah,
mean?
it's not
This is the kind of stuff
yeah,
that's gonna
it's
hurt.
not
That's okay.
it's not only negative stuff like saying like we are in a shit bucket. No, you have to say what if your sales are going up. Like if you are like Netflix and you're doing bunkers, because of that, you have to say that you're doing bunkers because of this also, right? So it goes both ways. Like that's actually
Yeah.
been made pretty clear by regulators, saying that you
Yeah.
cannot go west. The other one that CPA Canada was advising is that saying that, well, if you are trying to invest or even reviewing some financial statements and there's a future earning projections in it, yeah, if anything, are those being created before the crisis hit? They're pretty much garbage. Well,
Yeah.
that's not how CPA Canada put it, but basically that's exactly what they mean. It's pretty much garbage at this point because nobody expected this, and so they're saying pretty much they're actually advising companies saying you should go out and withdraw those projections officially. Say to everybody that we're withdrawing these projections, and maybe give a new ones. But the problem with new ones again, how do you know that? What's the situation like? Because finance professionals are not medical staff. They don't know how the medical stuff is gonna work, right? And crisis is mostly medical driven right now, right?
Well, here's the thing. I think you can still do risk simulations. So that's a cheap excuse to use. I'm sorry. It's very easy to do risk simulations. It's very easy. This is not hard. This is not rocket science. They have all the technology to do it. They have all the developers they need to do this stuff. All you got to do is a bunch of risk simulations, and then you got to place some bets on saying if there's a long downturn and it stays that way for a really long time before a decent recovery happens, and that pain that we're going to go through is because there could be a second wave, third wave, fourth wave that we deal with, then this is where we see things going, right? So they need to create these scenarios, and it's very easy to do, but it's do they have the guts to do it while they might burn their stock valuation and stuff like that, right?
Well,
That's the problem.
well, usually
you
the
have the
future
guts to?
projections are part of that management discussion analysis MDA section, which is
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
a lot of corporate bullshit speak goes into that.
But that's the point. Now is the time where, and even an investor is going to say, cut the bullshit. I don't want any fluff.
Oh, I
Okay?
hate fluff.
Because fluff ends up being 2 hours of a bloody day-long session, and the day-long session is only 3 hours. So 2 hours was fluff.
Yeah.
And then 1 hour, you finally got into the numbers and started telling us stuff.
Yeah.
And then you said, here's a bottle of champagne, bye.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
That's usually the
Right?
situation. Like when I'm going to this different
Yeah.
conferences, kind of stuff like that's my always expectation. Thankfully, the CPA conference was not like that. I guess because
It's
they had
more
to do it
objective.
virtually, they cut out the fluff of this time around.
Yeah.
Because I saw that the original program, had more hours in it than the current one. Although there was sections about like mindfulness and such stuff that I really didn't care for. But that's me.
No, you should. You should, because here's the thing. Mindfulness versus mindlessness, right? We do a lot of things mindlessly, and we do very little things mindfully. if we did more things mindfully, we'd be more successful, and we would not be doing this podcast right now. So I thought I'd just throw that one in there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah,
someone's gotta
no,
do
that's
it.
that.
Someone's gotta say.
Yeah, and so okay, so I guess I'm moving on from that whole section, and in kind of keeping to the topic of the financial disclosures, and I didn't switch the topic, but we're
Yeah.
gonna say that the next one is gonna be financial fraud, and we had actually companies that it happened. There was a Singaporean energy company. I posted that on the
Ooh,
Facebook one.
Singapore.
That went under because the trader had apparently huge losses and he was covering them up.
Interesting.
And then now that the energy is the price of oil went down so much that he couldn't cover it up at all. It came up.
Of course not.
I think HSBC was the first one that rang a rebel saying like, hey, there's something wrong here. But other companies started going in. And then there was that coffee place coffee company in China that also had this again same problem, and they literally removed their, I think, like CEO and their C staff level of people because of
So
that.
there's sea level.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
called Luckin
C-suite
Coffee.
people.
That was called, and the Singapore company was called Zenrock.
So wait, lacking coffee. So if it's lacking coffee, is it tea or something? What is
No,
it?
that's actually a good one. It's
I don't know.
I don't know, maybe they're supposed to pronounce as looking coffee, but it's not two O's. It's Luckin.
Yeah, so it's looking
Lukin, maybe, I don't know.
maybe you're looking at coffee.
Yeah, it looks like that's what's gonna be happening to people who are gonna come by the stores for a while. They're just gonna be looking at coffee because the stores, well, they get the
Oh,
shit in
yeah.
order there. In terms of, yeah, so it was also the same thing. They were supposed to be a big startup, supposed to challenge Starbucks, and then come out that apparently these guys were covering up a lot of financial weird transactions.
Fraud.
Yeah, and that happens because again you don't have future earnings that you can rely on to cover up your bad performance that you were kind of not showing, and then suddenly like, oh well, now we're screwed. Pretty much how I think
Yeah.
Enron went down, and
When,
all those guys
yeah.
did. They also went down the
When-
same way.
When they got off the Viagra and Cialis, all of a sudden they became a dud.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened with their performance.
So
Okay, makes sense.
so if you're investing, you gotta be careful about that. It's
Oh, I'm careful.
Yeah.
I don't buy that kind of junk.
Yeah, so because
I-
it might not be there, but like, I remember a case a few years back when I think HP bought somebody, and they turned out to have like so after they bought the CFO of that company is like, yeah, by the way, we have like 8 million or something, like fake assets or something like that sitting on the books.
I hope you're not talking about Compaq, are you?
No, that was way after that. HP Compact was like in
Yeah.
early. No, this was something
was a
some
long
other
time
company.
ago.
HP bought it. They had an audit.
Did you ever have a Compaq desktop or?
Yeah, I think I had an old one
Huh?
somewhere.
Did you have a Compaq Presario or something?
No, it was like a one old mini thing, right? Old
The
compact mini.
486?
Oh yeah, that's right. We used that as a server back in the day at home. It used to be a server, so because it didn't need to do much shit, and it used to sit under the TV, make it smart before the smart TVs came out even.
Yes.
Yeah, because
yes.
it had that TV out or TV in card, one of those things that it had the ability. Yeah, so it was yeah. Back in the day when TVs used to be this big, giant things, like not that thin, like they used to be like that, like you couldn't get them through the goddamn door in a box.
Yeah, because they had cathode tubes in them.
Yeah.
And stuff, right. It was called the tube for a reason. Now we're on YouTube, and YouTube don't got no tube. Things make so much sense today. It's amazing.
Like, and those things lasted a long time. Like that TV lasted for a long time. The idea was like, well,
I mean,
it's gonna die.
Your LED today will probably have a few fried pixels and it's over, right? And those god darn like cathode tube TVs would just frickin' last you like 20, 30 years, man. Like it's just insane.
Because I remember the family were talking about switching it, and it's like, well, it's still working. It's still working. And then I think somebody like told us like, we tell you a secret, it's gonna work for a long time. Like it's
So we spoke about fraud, but what about this new news that just came out even today? It was about how the U.S. Senate passed some bill to delist Chinese companies from their exchanges.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I did not see
Let
that
me
yet.
share you the link. Maybe we can put that up on the
Yeah, we
screen
can
for a
do that
second, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
Send the
So
link over.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
let me
just
do
sending it
this
to you now.
actually.
I think it might be cool to just kind of like scour through it as we talk about it or something, because this one there's not much material yet in that article. It's just a quick announcement,
Yeah,
but I
because I guess
think
the
that's
bill just passed, or
yeah. Well, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, like, just imagine if this thing like kind of pulls through, like what's going to happen, right? This basically means this is an announcement of that trade war, if you think about it, then,
yeah,
right?
that's gonna be very
This is
interesting.
right.
Yeah, I just so far I only see an article from Reuters. Trump considers delisting U.S. companies, so I'm guessing this is like it's very new because the news did
And
not pick up yet.
who controls the Senate right now? Is it the
Yeah, it's
Republicans?
Republican controlled.
Okay, so
Uh,
they are probably the ones who fronted this.
yeah,
Okay,
so
yeah.
well, it has to pass the House, but I don't think it's gonna have
Oh
that
no,
problem.
wait. So wait, the bill introduced by Senator John Kennedy, a Republican from Louisiana,
Hmm?
and Chris Van Hollen, oh, Democrat from Maryland. So this was one of those, you
Bipartisan?
know, yeah, man, bipartisan. Didn't think I'd hear that in like, I don't know, like, damn, it's been such a long time since we've
Yeah.
heard
Okay.
such a
I got
pleasant word.
Fortune magazine article. Senate approves overwhelmingly, so I'm guessing nobody is stood against it. Let me jump to this section.
So I guess the lobby from X country has kind of dried out. So.
Yeah. So
Mm.
this is interesting. Yeah. Um, I haven't read the bill or yet. We don't know what's that, but exactly details. But yeah, it says like that. Is U.S. lists
But
Chinese.
this is a very telling thing, though, right? That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. This is basically an announcement of trade war. If you really think about it, it has to be.
This is big, like because previously they told their pension fund, like the U.S. pension funds, like government one, not to own any Chinese securities, right? So this is taking it further, like because people were saying like that's a big hit because of the cash flow into blah blah into China, but yeah, this is a big hit. Yeah, yeah,
This is a big deal.
and so that
Right?
could lead to Chinese companies such as Alibaba being delisted. So okay, yeah, yeah. John Kennedy, Republican from Louisiana, Chris Van Hollen, Democrat from Maryland. Yep.
Nice and bipartisan. I like this.
If
I
a
like
company can
this.
show that it's not under such control, or public company accounting outside board isn't able to audit the company for 3 consecutive years to determine that it's not under control of foreign government, the company securities will be banned from exchanges. So it's actually not even Chinese. It's triggered. It looks like if it's a company that's has a government stake in it. So
Meaning that government stake in
no,
it,
just as
right?
government. So I think they just did
Any
broad any
government.
government. So it's any government. So under control of the foreign government. Now, accounting wise, that could mean even 30% stake by the
Hmm.
government. Like
Right.
I think U.S. gap is a 30% for control. Like you don't need
Hmm.
to have a 51, like 50 plus one type of stake in order to have control. Because if other
Now,
shareholders are smaller than you can just still
right,
go ahead.
right. So now here's the other thing.
Uh,
Um, Now, while we're thinking about this, who's to say that government X cannot just find civilian Y and just give him like $10 billion and be like, do my job for me, be my proxy.
yeah,
Wink, wink,
yeah.
nudge, nudge.
That's of
Right?
course is a possibility, and then of course
Right?
that's again I that's one of the possibilities. Yeah, yeah. The idea of if you can create
I
a
mean,
shell
there,
company
there's
that will hold it or something like that, and
there's ways to do forensic accounting to find and catch all that stuff, but I'm just saying, right? Like, you know, good, but maybe
yeah, I
let's
don't
be a
know.
little more
Like
explicit.
this is like I said, like I want to see how they build and who more of it. But yeah, like you said, you can set up a shell companies and such to go around. Of course, that adds extra cost to the whole business. Uh, so
Well, look, you've got Cyprus, your best friend Cyprus.
it's no longer
Um,
that good anymore there apparently. But
oh,
anyway,
did they change all their
I heard
sexy
that it's
rules
not
now?
that good. Like I
Oh,
cannot confirm
boring,
exactly. I just heard things that saying that
boring.
yeah that
Well, maybe a foreign government will just start a corporation in Delaware, right? and transfer price a little bit, at arm's length,
That's
It's,
actually possible. I think like I forget which. I think it's not as much as Delaware. I think Nevada is easy to start corporations in United States.
uh,
At least I
Del-
heard that. Like,
I
yeah,
feel that Delaware usually ends up being one of the number one because it's so easy to do so.
Delaware I think is
And
where the banks tend to like to sit in.
yeah, not just them. A lot of peeps that just want to get incorporated and to start a
Yeah,
business or whatever,
I heard
they
Nevada is
set
like
up shop
a
there.
$10 fee to start
Oh
a
yeah,
corporation.
hey, gotta love Nevada.
But yeah, there's a few
Screw Las
states like
Vegas.
that in the United States that also allow it.
Really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes actually United States one of the biggest tax havens in the world. Uh, Second biggest
Mm-hmm.
city of London, but yeah, that's a different story.
Well, the city of London is a nice place because
When they say city of London, they don't mean the actual London. London has a city of London area in it that
yeah,
is
it's a small
governed
thing.
slightly differently due to medieval laws being carried over from a back back when. And so that area apparently has its own like representative that can go to foreign missions and all sorts of things. It allows them to go crazy.
It's like a little special economic zone, but a special jurisdiction
Yeah,
zone.
like even apparently the royals cannot just enter it without permission.
Wow, it's like a Vatican on steroids.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I read the
Dang,
first
son.
time around, I'm like, really? Yeah, it has its own voting based on how many employees companies have, so that's skewed towards companies. Like it's got a whole thing here. We can talk for hours about how it's structured as a tax haven in its own way. And but yeah, so since we don't have hours, let's. I guess the next thing that we can move on is that something that again we posted on our Facebook page, and but the idea was that is a with regards to COVID-19 and underlying conditions, and this came after it specifically grabbed my attention because there were people who were saying like, oh look, almost any death is now being blamed on COVID. It became like a meme, like they'll show a traffic accident and saying like,
No,
blame
no,
it on
no.
COVID-19, like it's that
You
kind of
can't
stuff.
blame anything on COVID-19. Everything is Carol Baskin's fault. So when you actually watch Tiger King, you will actually get it. But
uh,
everything is her fault. Okay,
yeah, and so
not COVID
this
19.
study looked at data
Is this
from
the Sweden one? Is this the Sweden one?
uh don't remember.
No, no.
Let me look. But it's a
Or
study. It basically looked at they grabbed a whole bunch of stuff from data from Italy on deaths there because they had a pretty good data there. It also grabbed from Britain and from other locations because again they had that data available, and they compared it to the mortality tables that are available through the WHO website for different city for different countries, saying that if you have some kind of underlying medical condition such as, let's say, hypertension or blood pressure or something like that, it says how long that person is expected to live, basically. That kind of based on the country's
oh,
experience. And so they took that, then they took multiple conditions also added into that, and uh, and then they also did the other thing, which was they added the deaths now for COVID-19 in those cases where they had data for situations where they knew people had underlying conditions where it was listed, and they compared those numbers. And so the numbers were such a long, there's something called the years of life lost. I think that's the official medical term. So how early the person died. And so for males it was under 50. So they only did also elderlies for that. For under 50 people, it was 13 years of life lost for COVID-19 related death, and for females it was 11. So and that was we kind of I guess it's an answer to saying that no, people are not dying from underlying conditions; they're dying from COVID-19. That's killing them at this point. And with underlying conditions, they would have lived 13 or 11 more years. Basically, that's what's saying. On average, they would have lived that. So it's kind of an interesting study to show it's like the impact of that. And
mm-hmm.
now, as was mentioned on the Facebook website, is that it's not peer reviewed, and that's something that has been happening. Is that medical community stopped moving towards peer reviewed journals and moving towards the open research type of approach because peer review takes time, and they're like, well, we don't want to sit on
Yeah,
it.
but here's the problem. Here's the problem. When it's not peer reviewed, there's not enough rigor. And if there's not enough rigor, there's not enough credibility. If there's not enough credibility, I don't take you seriously, and I can't create solid policies about that.
Yeah, that's a danger of it. Like this article has all the stuff that the academic journal is supposed to have. Like in the academic journal, it's supposed to have. It has all the references, methodology, all the data sources available, so you can go ahead and do it yourself type of approach. But it's not has not been nobody has done it yet. Like nobody went through the data again all over again. So that's kind of a problem. Apparently, math and science has been doing that for a while now. People are saying that apparently the mathematics. I guess in math and science easier. It's formulas based, so you can just redo the math calculation all over again. I don't know if that's as easy or not, but I guess medical data is a bit more harder. You're working with humans.
You look, applied or theoretical physics or mathematics. These are very nasty / amazing fields. Let's not just say they're just formulas. It's way more disgustingly awesome than you think. So don't sit there and try to like distill it into junk, which it's not. So I resent that statement. Take it back. But no, but seriously, like the life sciences, I get it. The like what they need to do in terms of experimentation, being able to reproduce the same phenomenon, like explain it properly. I get it. I get it. But that's the entire scientific methodology, anyways, and everyone's got to use it. So it doesn't make them extra special. So let's just keep that clear too. That's all I'm saying. Right? Like
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, like he's a super smart guy. He didn't get his PhD by buying toilet paper. The guy had to do stuff, prove stuff, and make sure other people who try to see that stuff and prove it and validate that he was right agree with him. So it's like, I'm just saying, right? Like somebody who likes astrophysics isn't just going to be like, yeah, you see that patchy thing like 25 million light years away? Yeah, that's like 10 universes, bro. It's they don't just like do that whole thing up in the air, right? They don't do that. There's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of rigor behind it, right? So yeah, I'm just trying to defend the scientific community that you're spitting on right now, and I don't know if you're much of an audience for me at this point. You're just tuning out. Anyways.
No, I'm looking at that article you sent to me.
That other one, yes.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, it's more political, I think, but I think
Yeah,
maybe,
because she's a president of Concerned Ontario Doctors, which I never heard of organization. I'm showing it right now. So yeah, the partnering with China is counterproductive and dangerous thing, maybe.
I think it's out of it's there. Look, it's a lot of it's fear, but a lot of it's justified too, because our friends in that part of the world did withhold information, and that's not cool because it's cost
a lot. They
of.
withheld it at first, apparently, but then they was pretty good at starting to share the data after the fact.
But they also strong-armed the World Health Organization to toot and speak their language. Okay, so I don't know.
Like at the same time, I heard like, well, basically, people expecting apparently more from World Health Organization than it actually has in mandate. So it doesn't really have much ability to. I
don't understand why anything to do with the United Nations is even relevant. Let's just scrap the whole piece of shit, anyways. Okay, it's a bunch of people who sit there, get paid for stuff that maybe isn't going to help us.
Right, because apparently one of the things that people are saying, like I heard that people saying, like it's not that defunding the World Health Organization is a thing that you have to do. It's actually the other way around. If you want them to take on these tasks, you really need to let them have the personnel to do it. They don't have that much, apparently. That's what I heard, at least. I did not double check on that section, but
wow. Well, that explains why UNICEF is such a pathetic fund, right? You donate to them, and so much of the money goes into their bureaucracy. I don't think it's because they have a shortage of labor. I think it's because they have a shortage of efficiency. How about that for a little rhetoric? Anyways, I'm in a feisty mood right now. I don't know.
I don't donate to UNICEF. Actually, I donated $1 towards Samsung Global Goals initiative. Samsung matches it apparently. I don't know. I don't know that. It just kept telling me to get a new screensaver. That actually is you watch the screensaver.
Wow. Your generosity knows no bounds.
You earn some kind of dollars because it shows you ads or something like that. Right. So that's there you go. That was my
Nice.
good deed for today. It's actually happened today in the morning.
Yeah.
I just
But that $1 donation is not tax deductible. It's not
no,
enough.
I know it's
So
not.
so just so you
But I
know.
didn't really earn it
I did my taxes.
because because the screensaver just comes on. It's not like I'm actually looking at any stuff that is showing. But anyway, but that's that's the situation.
Did you file your taxes? Did you submit them?
Oh yeah, a long time ago. Because
Nice.
I'm actually getting the money back, so I'm not gonna sit on them.
Oh, you're getting money
Of
back?
course.
How much?
Enough.
Tell the truth.
No, I'm not gonna tell the truth. I'm not gonna tell you the number. I get enough.
If you're getting a couple of grand, you
No,
should
no,
start
not a
paying
couple
me.
of grand. That's not. I'm not that much of a wizard in terms of taxes.
So you're getting like 800-900 back, something like that, maybe. Don't lie.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Just tell the truth.
No.
Just tell the truth. I made too much this year, so I'm only getting a nominal amount back.
I
And
had a situation like 1 year when I did have to pay. I think actually not maybe 1 year, but it depends. It looks like because I'm got this whole CFA membership, CPA memberships. All
Ooh,
them
show
all them
off.
are considered to be similar to union fees, dues, right? And so you can deduct them. So once you push that all in, yeah,
Damn, so that's your trick.
yeah.
My
Apparently
guy.
that pushes it a lot. So and since especially CFA charges you in USD, so it's never in your favor.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
So, but
So when are you going to become my chartered financial analyst?
yeah, no, it's not. Is it certified or chartered? I forget.
Certified,
No, it is
whatever.
chartered.
It's certified.
It is chartered. Chartered financial analyst. I should know better.
Is it?
Yes, I think it's it's chartered.
Really?
Yeah, CFA is a chartered
Oh,
financial
shit.
analyst. Yeah,
Oops.
yeah, it is. Chartered financial analyst. Yeah, yeah, well,
Damn,
yeah.
son.
So no, I
Damn.
have that. I have the designation. Yeah, I've been. That's one of the reasons I'm attending a bunch of CFA conferences because I'm supposed to
Yeah,
do
no,
a certain amount of
I get it. So now you've exposed your
educational
income, and
experience.
now if anyone wants to rob you, they know your coordinates, and they'll steal stuff from you. Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and also feel free to donate to the poor. You're looking at them. Anytime
Not
you
that
want.
poor.
I'm pretty poor.
Oh. All right. So anyway, so moving on, there's another thing that was posted on Facebook actually today. It's an article about COVID-19 and how it affects children. Again, this is
Where was it posted on
Facebook?
Would you kindly share your screen so we can see where you share this? I'd love to make this interactive. No. Let's show it.
Yeah. Give me a second. I'm just going to transfer because I have to transfer it this way.
Yeah. Use technology.
Yeah.
I'm being tough on you this time around. I know. It's not been pleasant, has it?
No, I just have to move this
stuff around. Shut
up.
Oh my god, I see my name somewhere.
God damn it, I found another Soapbox podcast.
Hey, stop swearing, stop swearing. Keep this clean.
I'm trying to.
There's adults watch.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do it this way. I'll do it differently.
You know what's great?
What?
You could now pose as Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite because of the way your mustache is grown in now.
Here it is. This is the official podcast page for us.
You had no idea what I was referencing. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
You didn't watch.
You haven't seen Napoleon Dynamite. You've missed out on life.
So here we have the posting with it.
Here you have an owl named Tatar Amir, and then you have that other dude who's wearing exactly what I'm wearing, minus shades.
That was let's try again. Post. Here it is. This is the article that I'm talking about. So this one, if you go in, this is Don't Forget the Bubbles is an organization started by a pediatrician. So doctors that specialize on children diseases. So if you go into About Us, there's a whole there's their bios, so the team they have education. So what they did is that they take medical literature that's published about diseases in children, they read through it, review it, and create kind of summaries on it. And so this one is about the COVID-19. This is as of May 15th summary. And if you go through it, they talk about how it's affecting children and what they are
Interesting.
saying is that children are less likely to get sick. They're more likely to be asymptomatic, so they're not showing symptoms. Or if they are sick, they're showing very few symptoms. But at the same time, it looks like they're less likely to transmit the disease at the same also. So now that doesn't mean that they don't transmit at all. It's just that they're less likely than the adults. And they're more likely that you don't even know that the child could be carrying it because they seem to have no symptoms. They also talk about newborns, saying that data shows that most of newborns who are born to mothers who have COVID-19 do not have COVID-19. All the stuff that so far has been shown, they're saying that secondary tests after the fact show that no, the original test just was a false positive. So they talk about that also. So
life is a false positive.
So there you go.
So deep comment.
So that's another thing that we had, and still on talking of COVID-19 and talking of this, guys. Also posted. I go away. I'm not logged into Facebook. That's why it's coming up. Is that here? It is Anders Tegnell. He's a Swedish head of the Swedish epidemiology, I guess, or chief epidemiologist in Sweden, and he did a type of a interview on a BBC show called Hard Talk, like a radio show. You can re-listen to the whole interview if you want to. But one of the things that he said is that the way Sweden approached the lockdown situation, right? They didn't do lockdown. It's not because they want to save economy or something like that. It's because, as far as he sees and his colleagues sees, this is the right approach to the handling pandemic. It's not to lock everybody in, right? And we talked earlier in the previous episode about this guy, Sweden, how much higher death toll there. And so this guy says, yes, our long-term care homes have been attacked by COVID-19, but he's like, oh, we're taking now sanitary precautions, and that's number is reducing now. So he's saying that long-term care homes seems to be what's been the problem. And if you listen to the news, everybody's been talking about long-term care homes. They've been talking about
that brings us to a point that's even more close to home. So what we're hearing about this epidemiologist in Sweden, I get it. I want to be able to ask some folks I know that live there to kind of give us the inside, scoop outside of what this guy is saying, because you hear what they say, and I want to hear some anecdotal commentary from folks too about like what they're just seeing if they eyeball it in the situation, right?
Yeah.
I want to know about that again, because that's the stuff we had given inputs about in previous podcasts where we were mentioning that, and then this guy's saying this, and he's confident about how.
He's definitely very confident about it. Yeah.
Of course they are, but that's why they get paid whatever dollars they do.
Yeah,
right?
like he basically, and the BBC guy had him. He was trying to, attacking him pretty well through the whole thing. He was like saying like,
was it Steven Saka?
I don't remember who was but the guy was saying like, but what about that open letter that was published, right? Or the people that were saying that to have you resign, that kind of stuff. And he said, and of course the epidemiologist says like, all those guys, like, they're not medical professionals, or they're not at the same level, or not in the same field and such, or saying like they're not leading professionals. So he's literally, this guy saying like those guys have no kind of a credibility that are trying to attack him. So he literally just kind of like brushed that aside.
Right. So frontline doctors and nurses who didn't even have enough equipment to work with are wrong about saying that maybe we should have locked down.
So basically, that's what he's
trying to say.
That's kind of a message he's saying that, and he's saying that Sweden is ahead of the curve. He's saying the reason is that he's saying that more population is immune now. He's
okay.
Now again, he hasn't tested that. That's his theory. Apparently,
country X, please do not release something out there in Sweden, because we don't want them to go and prove to the world that they're like the strongest Vikings on the earth, and and that they're superhumans and that they're immune to everything now. Okay, so nobody go and experiment and do something funky here.
Well, apparently Switzerland has tests ready, and so this guy is applying to test the sample population to see how much of a population of Sweden is immune now.
Okay.
Yeah, so. But he's pretty much saying, like,
Okay.
he's comparing himself to Denmark and other Nordic nations, and he's pretty much saying, like, yeah, we are ahead of them because, well, unlike them who have a lower immunity right now, we have a much higher immunity as a result. And
You know, that's I don't know if how I don't know. It
yeah,
sounds
that's
kind of
like,
subjective, to be
yeah, that's
honest.
like
Okay.
I'm listening to the guy, but like he's really, really, really pushing that he's got it right, and I don't know, maybe he is, I don't know.
I really want him to go sit beside a pond where there's mosquitoes and other organisms with Japanese encephalitis and get bitten by one of those little insects and not be inoculated before. I want to see how amazing this guy's natural immune system is. I really do. He's so confident right
Apparently,
now.
it's pretty amazing because he ended saying that he does not wear a face mask. He says that
Oh,
in
he doesn't.
Sweden we don't
As I
wear a
said,
face mask. When we're sick, we stay
of
home.
course not. Of course not. You wear a helmet, you get your Viking sword, you take your boat, and you go out and invade the earth, right? Of course, genius.
So yeah, so that was his other thing that so he ended up with that I know that I kind of was very interesting.
I would love to bring him to a country where malaria and Japanese encephalitis and all those things really torture the society there, and I really want to see how immune this guy is to all that stuff too. He's so super powerful, right? Let's see.
I don't know. That's the approach.
Maybe he can even kill off HIV/AIDS. I swear, like this guy seems like he's so superhuman. Yeah, I want to pick on this guy's freaking
and like
personality right now.
And understand, like his biggest argument is like, well, the pandemic is not over, so you guys should not compare numbers until it's over. And I kind of.
Oh yeah, right. Okay,
right.
But you just said we're so immune. Okay.
Yeah, so he's saying like, we are ahead of. His idea is that Sweden is so ahead of the curve that and everybody else is going to catch up eventually to those numbers.
Oh,
I think that's his idea. Well, in a way, I can kind of understand that because, like, if you look at let's give an example of Russia because I've seen it on the Russian Facebook pages, where they all were making fun of the Western world and saying like, oh, look at you guys, look at Italy, look at all these countries getting hit badly, like America and that kind of stuff, and they're like, oh, look at that, and everybody said that your health system is so much better. You keep telling us everybody that everybody's health system is much better, and you're doing so bad. And look at Russia, we're not doing that bad, right? And then they get hit. Right, so Russia was doing all this. They were showing like we had those testing in the airports. We have people taking temperatures at the airports. Everything we have all that under control. And then they have lineups outside of hospitals for the ambulances as they're delivering patients. Now, right, that happened. So in a way, I guess this is the thing that to tell the countries, don't rush it and don't say that you're done with this until it's really over because you don't know, right? This is like one example.
Listen. In Russia, the virus doesn't hit Russians. Russians hit the virus.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
just no. You need to understand that statement, and it's going to hold true. I tell you that. Drop the mic. Walk away.
Yeah. So yeah. So
in Russia, virus doesn't hit Russians. Russians hit virus. Okay, just remember that.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
So I think that's it. There was one thing more I would like to talk about, but we can carry it over to the next time. It's not
no. What is it? What is it? What is it?
The documentary I watched. Documentary I watched on new meat production. So basically, the hot dogs festival that happens here, right?
Yes.
So it got
yes.
It got canceled, right? So but they're releasing all the dogs through CBC.
Oh.
So CBC documentary channel is literally releasing all the docs as if they would have been going live. So like depending on days, so each week there's a new sections being uploaded and you can watch them. And this was one of the documentaries called Meat as actual food product. Meat the Future. The idea of meat that's manufactured from the cells of the animals.
Yeah, so like what they did in Japan too, didn't they? Where they took like fecal matter and they were able to create like animal muscle cells and stuff out of that. And
these guys do it literally from an animal. So they come up and scrape some cells from an animal. The different animals they did. It's called Memphis Meat. That's Memphis Meats. The company is called. Of course, in San Francisco, where else would be? Any startup. So they
It's also where you can get a free shitting on the street for free as well.
Yeah, and so they
Yeah.
they use that cells then to grow meat itself, right? Because and what they're saying is that you literally don't need to grow the whole animal because you only grow the part that you really want. So you can, if you want a certain part, that's the cells that you need.
Now here's a sick, disgusting question, but does it bleed?
I don't know.
Because all of these like lovely people who eat steak, I don't, and I don't condone it either. I actually condemn the slaughter of beautiful animals for consumption. Um, yeah, there's folks who are saying like, yeah, if you're gonna make anything that's kind of like, what is the word for it? Synthesized
Hmm?
from cells or whatever, right? Like, well, it's got to bleed, or else it's not what it is, right? Like, if I'm searing it on a pan, and if I cut through it, I need to see something.
Yeah, I don't know about that. They didn't talk about that. In documentary, they're still way off from the market. I think their price per pound was at over. No, actually, they got it to slightly less than $100 per pound. So they're not there yet. So
So now here's the other part. So this is lab-grown meat, let's say,
well,
right?
they're not saying lab because
It's,
it's gonna be actually not a lab but a full facility. They bought a warehouse facility that's gonna convert to this thing. So they're trying to go away from a lab.
damn, kind of like hydroponics, huh?
Yeah, so like it's like something like that.
Hmm.
Basically, pretty much the saying.
Aquaponics,
Yeah, so
hydroponics.
they're saying that its lab right now was only for that when they were experimenting, testing, getting investor financing, that kind of stuff to
So
show
now
them.
they've got it down to a science, and they say I could just put a petri dish everywhere, blah blah blah, culture it, make
Yeah,
this thing
basically the
grow, and
idea is that
go
now
forth.
they want to spin up the economics of scale to make it to get the price to
Oh,
lower
of
down
course they
completely,
do.
right?
Of course they do want to do that.
And
Now, how many animals do they need to keep around for cell samples and stuff?
don't know that's not something that they cover there. I think their biggest problem is that now is the regulatory sections because the actual meat industry is not very happy about the idea that there's going to be something else
Yeah,
that's
because
being
now they
manufactured.
don't get to now they don't get to grow and kill their animals and sell them
Well,
to you.
yeah, because they're saying this is not like a real meat and stuff. Like it's the same thing as Beyond Meat. This whole idea, right? That's the
No, it's not the same as Beyond
but
Meat.
basically the
Beyond
meat
Meat, no,
industry
it's not.
is grouping
It's
them all
not the
together,
same
saying
idea.
if you're making protein, animal protein from anything you want to say, like you're making a protein, the meat industry wants to
No,
have
no,
it
no.
classified
Careful with
separately.
the statement you're using. You're saying if you want to make animal protein from anything you want. No, that's not the word. Animal protein from an animal versus plant protein from a plant.
Mm-hmm.
It's two separate things. We can't confuse them,
Yeah,
right? So what Beyond is doing is still more on the
yeah, it's
plant-based
plant based.
side of
It's
it,
it's,
right?
it's making
Whereas,
synthesizing that to make it look like these
yeah.
guys are saying that we're not synthesizing because we
Well,
have the
no, no, no.
actual meat.
Well. The thing is, the pea protein that's used is simulating, right? Okay, so the plant-based guys are trying to
Yeah,
simulate.
simulate the growth.
It's kind of like
Yeah,
this, whereas the animal protein side is trying to like take these cells, culture them, and basically make them behave exactly as animal
yeah,
protein,
pretty much.
right?
Yeah,
Only difference being maybe they can't make them bleed because there's no blood.
maybe. Yeah,
Where's the
I don't
blood?
know. Maybe they can even reproduce that. I don't know. Uh,
Or they're going to use beet juice or something. I don't
I don't
fucking
know.
know.
Like
I mean,
maybe they can just get the
oops, I
cells.
swore. I tried not to swear and I
Yeah,
swore
they
now.
might get the cells for it. Like they did get funding from a bunch of technology companies. They got funding from a bunch of food production companies as well, which are helping them with regulatory problems. So right, but we'll see how that goes. That's an interesting idea because they're saying like this can really intensify production at the same time reduce the amount of fields that we have out there to provide feed for the animals, because you have to feed the animals, you have to also fields that grow feed for the animals, and saying like in our case we don't need to grow the whole animal, we just grow a part that we want and just repeat the process, right? Remass. Like I said, like to me the whole thing looked interesting. The documentary called is Meet the Future. If you want to watch it, and if you want to look into Memphis Meats, it's up to you. That's a company that those guys are running. So
Right.
yeah, so
Now with me, like a by tradition, by family practice, by whatever you want to call it, never touch this stuff, never will. If I was to be asked whether I would ever try this
yeah, that's
simulated
actually what I think I'm
animal
wondering.
protein, I would never touch it.
No,
the whole idea behind it is why we wouldn't want to do it, right? I don't want to have the lust for animal flesh. You see what I
Mm,
mean? Meaning to eat it.
yeah.
I don't, that's an ethical, it's a civilizational, it's a spiritual reason why I don't want to touch it this way, right? I don't want to have this developed taste for it because for my spiritual goals, it would be counterproductive to them.
Yeah, that's actually
Why? I don't have to go there because we say you are what you eat. I like to eat vegetables and I'm a vegetable. Look at me. I'm always lying down being like a vegetable. So there you go, right? So I am what I eat. So there you
yeah,
go,
but that's something
right?
I was wondering about actually
Yeah.
when I was watching. Like, would this work for you? Like, would this
No.
because
Some people will try and be like, "Oh my God, yeah, no more guilt. Let's do
yeah, like
it."
because there's
I'm
no
like, "No
animal in
thanks,
reality being slaughtered.
no
But yeah, I
thanks,
was wondering.
no thanks." It's not about the slaughter. It's the idea behind
Yeah,
it.
so
It's
I'm
flesh,
guessing you're
right?
gonna have that. Like you said, you're gonna have some people who are gonna say this way. So there's gonna be some kind of division on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and there will, I'm sure. But my thing is like if it's not natural, I don't want it. And even a lot of this simulated fake meats and stuff. I don't know.
But
I've had
like
like the
that
uh, the soy
plant
and
ones are so much processed that I'm not sure if you're
but
actually
that's my
eating
point.
eating
That's
anything
that's that's my point.
nutritious in the end.
That's what I'm trying to get at, right? That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get at. So even the stuff that's simulated and it's plant-based, but still there's so much junk in it that doesn't need to be there, and it makes me wonder if it's just Frankenstein food. Like why am I eating it then?
Yeah.
Right? I would rather eat based on my cultural ethnic background because that's the food my folks have been eating for 5, 10,000 years and still alive. I think that's what would keep me at more optimal health anyways. It's when I eat like the fast food diet that I get unhealthy anyways. When I eat traditional food, I don't get sick. I feel better. I'm usually healthier, but I kind of go away from eating traditional old school food like my folks used to. And that's kind of more why I would say I battle with unhealthiness a lot of times of the year, especially when it's cold and I can't go outside and be physically active. Set it on one breath. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
So,
So,
yeah.
and there's another achievement for this show now. Also, we didn't
Yeah.
have to fix your camera a single time today. So I guess that whatever
Yeah. Oh,
fix.
thank you very much, recording engineer. I mean, Tatar
No,
Amir. Yeah,
it's
thank you
actually
very
not
much.
me. It's thank you very much to the Skype, whatever that are forums that where people help each other, because I found it there that people were saying like Skype and OBS and how to solve this situation. So somebody there posted there. So thank you very much for posting that how to solve it. Took us a while to figure this to get to this. Yeah, thankfully.
But it was nice to know that the camera had a mind of its own. It was kind of, it was. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, technology, right?
Yeah. God. Yeah. So, do we even know what we spoke about that we could recap?
Nah, I don't know. I don't know if you want to
No,
recap
no,
on
I
this.
know, I know. I think we can. I think we
We
can.
spoke about a lot of shit. Sorry.
No, but hey, let me do the swearing. Fuck, man. Okay, let me do the swearing.
See, there you go. There you go.
I'm back. All right. I was trying to control it, but anyways, what the hell did we speak about? We spoke about what was it? Like the trade war stuff.
Yes.
We spoke about
Supply chain.
no, supply chain. We spoke about fraud in the reporting, and then of like people like companies' financials and stuff like that and their projections. The CPA association saying that if you had passed something along pre-COVID, it's pretty much rendered invalid. So please correct your
Yeah.
projections and things like that and your forward-looking statements and let the markets know and let the folks know. Great. We spoke about the I would call it the unofficial announcement of the trade war with the whole attempt to delisting that we heard about there. Then what else did we get into? Oh yeah, and when we were talking about the supply chain stuff earlier on, we were talking about like how manufacturing is going to be shifting to certain countries, but we also spoke about some of the challenges. Okay, now back to some of these other topics that we were.
Yeah. So we also talked about the COVID-19 and the
COVID-19.
yeah,
Yes.
the effect in children, the COVID-19 and the underlying condition effects on people, and
with the elderly in long-term
Yep.
care facilities. But what I forgot to mention, but I was trying to mention but didn't get to it, is that in Quebec, so in the province of
Yeah,
Quebec,
they do not doing that good.
they're doing ridiculously bad. Okay, so if you compare them with Ontario,
Or
okay,
any other
Ontario,
province.
or yeah, like so if you go by cases versus percent recovered, I think Ontario had a great percentage. Quebec had a ridiculously bad
Mm-hmm.
percentage. And I mean like very low, like it's pathetic. And one truly wonders why. And a few of the reasons that I was reading about that I didn't get to mention earlier, so I apologize, and I know it's
No, that's
coming at the
fine.
tail end. But one of the few of the reasons was that it's a lot of like um, so like there's these duplexes and different kinds of home, living areas where there's like lots of people flowing in and out, right? So like the home, like the housing complexes, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of people in these buildings and places that live wherever they do. So there's a lot of foot traffic going here and there, and it's not being controlled well enough. Um, People living in long-term like care facilities literally dying because there's nobody there to take care of them. Like shit ton of that happened, and a lot of those folks then were folks who succumbed to COVID-19. But that stuff happened. It was really, really, really bad. And I think the province of Quebec is going to have to do a lot of explaining to Canada real soon, like real soon, about like their poor performance. Like
Mm-hmm.
this needs to be justified ASAP, and it needs to be stopped ASAP because this is pathetic.
Yeah, they're not doing
This
that
is really
well. Yeah.
that province held this whole country hostage for so many years. And if it can't start performing now, like F you, man. Sorry. Enough. Okay? Clean up your
Well,
act.
don't they have a coalition for the Quebec future in charge or something like that? Forgot what's the name?
Yeah,
A
Mr.
coalition
Legault,
Avenir de Quebec or something like that.
whatever. Monsieur Legault, whatever his
Yeah.
name is.
For
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Anyways, I'm very disappointed in my former home province. And there's so many hardworking people there that can deserve so much better and are working hard and are not getting credit for the hard work they did, but they can't influence the numbers as much because of just how shitty the system is.
Hmm?
Okay, and it's pathetic, and that we can't take care of the elderly, across the country, not just
Oh
in one
yeah,
place, but
we
it's
had
just
the
a
province of
shame.
Ontario also talk about long-term care home
It's
reform.
just a bloody shame. It's just a
Yeah.
bloody shame. They brought us to this earth. Okay, it's their generation that sacrificed so that we're healthy and comfortable here, and we're leaving them to die like that.
Well,
What kind of
no,
bullshit is
the
this?
boomers are heading there, so they'll fix it.
Oh, come on, don't. Yeah, I know, but you you had to take a serious moment to just ruin it,
Yes, I
didn't
did.
you? You are an evil incarnate, I swear. Anyways, I still stand by my statement. We need to take care of the elderly because they brought us here, okay? And we need to just freaking control this goddamn situation because it's pathetic in Quebec. And Quebec has a lot to explain to this country. It does, okay?
Hmm?
It has a lot to explain to this country right now. So I hope they come up with some real good reasons.
Well, they'll come up with some. They're politicians. That's their
Yeah,
job.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know how good they are. Well, I think that's it. We should wrap it up. I think we went over time. Maybe we want to do an hour.
Okay, VeggieGuru, looks like you're really upset at your former home
Yeah.
province. Yes, I
So,
am.
like we was said in the beginning. So please like and subscribe. If you don't like, you can also click don't like on the video. That's up to you. If you know, or click like. It's up to you. Please subscribe. There's the social links in the description for both YouTube channels.
You can get notifications by hitting the bell icon.
Yes, that
Ding.
also, and I believe the Instagram is there also. So
Yeah, and I heard you post a lot of crazy cat videos and pictures out
no,
there
I
too.
don't.
So come on, you got to put some content out there, man. Like put yourself out there.
You know, I don't know what to post. Maybe I'll take a picture of a chair, and post it there.
Yeah, why not? Why don't you like put like the hammer and sickle from Mother Russia or something? Whatever it is.
I
Oh
think I
shit.
have a mallet.
I exposed where you're from again. Damn it. Why do I keep doing
I
that?
think I have a mallet. I don't have a sickle.
Oh, you have a mallet?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's from those days when I was laying down the laminate floors in here.
Yes, yes.
So I think I still have a mullet. I might have it. I
Yes,
need to double check.
from the days in the gulag. Yes, I know. Yes,
Right.
yes,
So
yes.
there you go. So anyway, so
Times.
that's it for the show. We're gonna sign off now. Thank you for watching again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's like a third time you said it.
And I get to hit the end stream button
Yes,
this
you
time,
should
right?
you should hit the end stream button right now.
Yeah, okay.
Because then
Bye,
I'll turn
people.
off the recording on this end.
Ah, shush. Okay, bye, everybody.
Alrighty.